59% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency with savings. This means more than half the country is just one unexpected expense away from going into debt. Now imagine this. You're driving to work and your car starts making a strange noise. You pull over and the mechanic tells you it's going to cost $1,500 to fix. What would you do? If you're like that 59% of people, you'd have to put it on a credit card. But if you can't pay it off within the grace period, you're stuck paying huge interest charges on top of that $1,500. But what if you could avoid those extra costs? What if you had $15,000 sitting in an account, ready to handle whatever life throws at you? That's what we call an emergency fund. Your financial safety net that catches you when things go wrong. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a $15,000 emergency fund in 12 months using 3 strategies that work even if you're earning a modest income. I'll show you why these strategies work so well, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do. All right, let's get into it. Before we talk about how to build this fund, let's first understand what happens when you don't have one. In our car breakdown example, you had to pull out your credit card. But why is that a problem? Well, that's because credit cards are expensive. According to the Federal Reserve, credit cards charge an average of 21.16% interest after the grace period. So with $1,500 for the repair costs, your balance will eventually grow to $1,830. That's an extra $330 just because you didn't have cash on hand. This is exactly why you need an emergency fund. So now that you understand why you need one, let's talk about the target amount. Why are we suggesting $15,000? Well, the rule of thumb is to save 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. That way, if you lose your job or face a major emergency, you have enough time to figure things out without immediately falling into debt. Now, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average adult aged 25 to 54 spends between $4,291 and $4,458 per month on everything: rent, food, utilities, transportation, and insurance. So if we take that monthly expense and multiply it by 3 to 4 months, which is the minimum requirement for emergency funds, we get roughly $12,900 to $17,800. That's why we're targeting $15,000, as it sits right in the middle and gives most people a solid 3 to 4 month cushion. All right, now, how are you going to build $15,000 from scratch? Well, you're not going to build this fund from just one source. Instead, we're going to use 3 different strategies, building on each other to maximize your savings. The first strategy is to optimize your spending. This is about finding money that's already yours but slipping through the cracks. The second strategy is creating accessible income streams. These are easy ways anyone can start to earn extra money. And the third strategy is building high-value income streams. These require some skill to get started, but the income potential is bigger. And now, let's dive into the first strategy. Think about the last time you checked your bank account and thought, where did all my money go? Now, our goal with our first strategy is simple. Identify leaks, plug them, and redirect that money straight into your emergency fund. Let me show you exactly how to do this. Track your spending. The first thing you need to do is understand where your money is actually going. Track your spending closely for the next 30 days. Track every dollar that leaves your account. Your rent, your Netflix subscription, your groceries, your gas, everything. You can use a spreadsheet, a notes app, or a budgeting app. Next, organize those expenses into categories. Think of them like buckets: housing, transportation, food, utilities, subscriptions, and entertainment. Once you've sorted everything, add up each bucket. And here's what you'll likely discover. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, rent and housing accounts for about 33% of the average person's income, transportation takes 17%, and food takes 13%. Those three categories alone eat up more than 60% of your budget. Cut major expenses. So we're going to focus here to find the biggest savings. Housing is your biggest expense. For most people, rent or mortgage runs $1,200 to $2,000 or more per month, but you can reduce it with these strategies. First, can you downsize? Moving to a smaller apartment or a less expensive neighborhood could save you several $100s per month. Second, can you get a roommate? If you're living alone in a 2-bedroom apartment, a roommate could cut your housing costs in half. Then, if you're renting, try negotiating with your landlord. Offer to sign a longer lease in exchange for lower rent, or offer to handle minor maintenance yourself. Just ask. The worst they can say is no. Next is transportation. If you have a car, you're probably spending $400 to $700 per month on your car payment, insurance, gas, and maintenance. But there are ways to reduce those costs. First, if you have an auto loan, look into refinancing. This means asking a different lender for a new loan with a better interest rate to pay off your old loan. Second, reduce your gas costs. Carpool to work a few days a week, or combine errands into one trip instead of making multiple trips. See how these changes can cut your second biggest expense? Now, food and groceries. This category is usually about 13% of your budget. You can actually save more for this bucket by buying more vegetables. They're healthier and cheaper than meat. Next, shop based on discount offers. When your supermarket advertises 20% off certain products, plan your shopping around those deals. And finally, cook at home more often. The average home-cooked meal costs $4.23, while a restaurant meal costs $16. You don't have to stop eating out completely, just do it less often. So, that's strategy 1, optimizing your spending. You've identified leaks and cut costs, but there's a limit to how much you can cut, and you're still far from your $15,000 goal. And this is where strategy 2 comes in, bringing in more money. Let me walk you through 3 ways to boost your income. First up is entry-level freelancing. This opportunity is for you if you have 5 to 10 hours per week available and you're willing to learn a basic skill or monetize one you already have. Speaking of skills, the most in-demand ones include graphic design, freelance writing, virtual assistants, and video editing. These pay between $23 to $35 per hour, and the best part? You can learn them from free YouTube tutorials in just 4 to 6 weeks. Once you've learned the basics, platforms like Upwork and Fiverr connect you with clients and handle all the payments. Once you're up and running, working just 10 hours per week over these platforms generates real income for your emergency fund. The second way to boost your income is to negotiate a raise at your current job. This is for you if you've been at your job for at least 6 to 12 months and your company is financially stable. But for a successful negotiation, timing matters a lot. Come prepared to show your value, market rates for your role, your specific contributions, and your tenure. This makes your request a business case, not much like an emotional plea. And even if you don't manage to get your increase right then and there, ask them what milestones you need to hit, then propose that they reconsider in a few months. The third method is a one-time cash injection. This one's quick and simple. Look around your home for items you're not using anymore. Exercise equipment collecting dust, old electronics, baby gear you've outgrown, furniture that's just taking up space. Sell them on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, or Craigslist. Just keep in mind this is only a one-time sale, not a sustainable strategy. But it's helpful to jumpstart your fund. So those are your 3 methods for strategy 2. Pick what fits your situation best. But what if you want even more income potential? That's when you turn to strategy 3. These are high-value income streams that require some skill to get started, but the income potential is significantly higher than anything we've talked about so far. Let me walk you through 2 options. First up is specialized freelancing. These are high-value skills that could pay several times the rate you'd get for the entry-level gigs I introduced earlier. Let me give you an example. Digital marketing consulting is all about helping companies run their online advertising and reach more customers. And this pays $50 to $100 per hour. But here's the drawback. Learning these skills takes time. If you're starting from zero, expect at least 6 months to become proficient enough to charge these rates. But if you have related experience, you can start much sooner. The second option is creating digital products. This means creating something once that you can sell repeatedly. Let me break down 3 types. First, online courses on platforms like Teachable or Udemy. You could teach a skill from your job, like Excel for beginners, social media marketing, or graphic design basics. Second, consider digital downloads, such as templates or guides, on platforms like Etsy or Gumroad. Think budget spreadsheets, resume templates, meal planning guides, or design templates people can customize. Third, ebooks on Amazon KDP. These work well for how-to guides or sharing expertise in a specific area. Now, you need to know this isn't truly passive income from day one. Yes, the income potential is there, but it requires significant work. So at this point, it's a real business and you need to hustle for it. So those are your options for strategy 3. These strategies require more investment of your time, money, and effort than strategy 2, but the income potential is significantly higher. You now have everything you need to build $15,000 in 12 months. But there are 2 more things you need to know: where to keep this money and what to do once you hit your goal. So, where should you keep it? Your emergency fund needs to meet 3 key criteria. Let me walk you through what to look for. First, security. Your money needs to be protected. Look for accounts that are insured, so even if something happens to the bank, your money is safe. Second, accessibility. When an emergency hits, you need to access your money quickly. You shouldn't have to wait weeks or jump through hoops to get your own money. Third, growth potential. Your emergency fund should earn interest while it sits there. It won't make you rich, but it should be earning something rather than just sitting stagnant. Now, let's talk about where not to keep your emergency fund. First, don't keep it under your mattress or in cash at home. Zero growth, no protection, and if something happens like fire or theft, it's gone. Second, Avoid putting it in the stock market or cryptocurrency. Yes, these can grow faster, but they can also drop significantly every single day. Volatility is the last thing you need. Third, don't lock it in certificates of deposit or retirement accounts with withdrawal penalties. If you have to pay fees or penalties to access your own money in an emergency, that defeats the entire purpose. Your emergency fund has one job: be there when you need it. So again, keep it simple, keep it safe, and keep it accessible. Look, building $15,000 doesn't need to take forever, and it shouldn't be excessively complicated. Optimize your spending, create accessible income, and build high-value income. That's it. And the best part is that all the tips I discussed in this video won't stop at the $15,000 emergency fund. They will set you up for more growth and a financially stable future. Now, let's turn to you. Drop a comment with your savings goal for the year, and if you have experience building wealth, share what's worked for you. If you got value from this, hit like. If you didn't, dislike it and tell me what I missed in the comments. I'm just looking for your honest opinion. Either way, your feedback helps to make these videos better. No matter in what form, your support means the world to me. Now go, build that safety net. See you in the next one.